the bullies. The long-anticipated day had finally come. Rose stood in front of Madame Izioma's mansion, her heart racing with excitement and nerves. She remembered every word her mother, Ijeoma, had spoken about the place, yet nothing prepared her for the sheer grandeur that loomed before her. Tall iron gates stood guarding the sprawling estate, decorated with intricate, swirling patterns and crowned with gold tips that glinted in the sunlight. Ijeoma had often told Rose tales of her employer's mansion. It has 5 living rooms, and each one is like a different world, she would say. One room is filled with red velvet and mahogany, while another has walls painted like the ocean. You would get lost in each room, my dear. Rose had listened, wide-eyed, to these descriptions, never believing she would one day live in such a place. Her fingertips barely brushed the iron gate when Ijeoma's firm hand stopped her. Rose, her mother warned gently. We are moving in today, yes, but Madame Ijeoma is grieving. You must be respectful. Remember that. Rose nodded, a bit embarrassed. The mansion was a marvel to her, but to Madame Ijeoma, it was likely just another reminder of her loss. She'd recently lost her only daughter, Edeora, in a tragic car accident. Madame Ijeoma and Ijeoma shared the unique strength of single mothers raising children alone, and that bond had slowly developed into a friendship over the years. When Madame Ijeoma extended an invitation for Ijeoma and Rose to move in, Ijeoma hesitated. Though grateful, she was unsure about moving her teenage daughter into her employer's home. But Madame Ijeoma insisted, even offering them rooms on the same floor as her own. I need a friend, Ijeoma, Madame Ijeoma had pleaded. I've been alone too long, and I don't want to face these empty rooms alone anymore. It was a rare glimpse of vulnerability from the powerful woman. So, there they were, standing in awe at the entrance. After a warm greeting from Madame Ijeoma, Rose found herself alone in her new room, marveling at the luxury around her. A king-sized bed dominated the room, covered in a deep emerald green duvet that was softer than anything she'd ever touched. A crystal chandelier hung above, shimmering and casting a gentle glow that made her feel as if she were living in a palace. In the adjoining bathroom, gold accents lined the marble countertops, and a large bathtub beckoned. Rose spun around, unable to contain her excitement, before quickly reminding herself of her mother's caution about being sensitive to Madame Ijeoma's grief. In the following weeks, Rose adjusted to life in the mansion with a mixture of wonder and restraint. She was careful to stay out of the way, speaking only when spoken to and keeping a low profile, just as her mother had advised. She spent her time exploring quietly, getting to know each corner of her spacious room, each elegant room in the mansion, and every view from its many windows. She was enchanted by her new surroundings but remained respectful. One quiet afternoon, there was a gentle knock on her door. When Rose opened it, she was surprised to see her mother and Madame Ijeoma standing together. Her mother looked both anxious and pleased, and Madame Ijeoma wore a gentle smile. Good evening, Ma, Rose greeted her, a bit timidly. Rose, Ijeoma began softly, sitting next to her on the bed. Madame Ijeoma has something important to discuss with you. Rose's curiosity piqued as Madame Ijeoma took a seat across from them. I would like to sponsor your education, Madame Ijeoma said. Her voice was steady, but Rose sensed an undercurrent of sadness. Maedora had dreams of studying abroad, and she wanted to attend a prestigious school here. I want to offer you the same opportunities. Rose's eyes widened in disbelief. It was beyond anything she could have dreamed of. Yet, when she looked to her mother, Ijeoma's face was shadowed by concern. Ma, Rose asked, is something wrong? Her mother sighed. It's a boarding school for wealthy girls. You may find it hard to fit in. I worry, she trailed off, uncertain. Madame Ijeoma gently placed a hand on Ijeoma's shoulder. Do not worry, Ijeoma. I believe Rose can do great things, and this school will help her get there. Don't let fear hold her back. After a long moment of consideration, Rose looked back at Madame Ijeoma with determination. Thank you, Ma. I'll do my best. I'll go to that school and make sure I succeed. When the day arrived for Rose to join the prestigious academy for girls, she felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Her new school looked more like a five-star hotel than a boarding school. As she sat in the principal's office, her mother and Madam Izioma on either side, she couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the grandeur. The principal, initially all smiles with Ijeoma and Madam Izioma, changed her tone the moment they left. Adjust to her standards quickly, she told Rose, her tone frosty. And don't expect any special treatment. The principal's attitude shook Rose, but she was determined to make the best of this opportunity. She followed the principal to her dormitory, struggling with her luggage as the principal made no effort to help. Her new room was a surprise, though, 2 beds, beautifully arranged, with her side ready for her. Rose was relieved. She had worried about bunk beds, but this room was more than she'd hoped for. Rose's excitement about meeting her new roommate faded quickly. That night, her roommate, Tina, arrived, casting Rose a cold, appraising glance before settling in silently. Each time Rose tried to speak, Tina responded with silence, only intensifying Rose's feeling of isolation. Rose tried to focus on her studies and keep her spirits up, but the isolation weighed on her. Over the next few weeks, Rose faced constant challenges. The girls in her dorm whispered about her, and she frequently overheard them referring to her as the charity case. During meals, they'd switch tables if she tried to join them, laughing and whispering behind her back. A girl named Bimbo, one of the most popular girls in school, was especially harsh, constantly mocking Rose's clothes, her accent, and even her presence. One evening, to Rose's surprise, Tina called her over during dinner. Relieved to have someone to sit with, Rose cautiously joined her. They ate in silence, but it was a comforting silence. Gradually, Tina began to open up, sharing bits and pieces of her life. She confided that her parents were going through a painful divorce, a fact that explained her guarded demeanor. Rose empathized, offering her silent support. One day, Tina showed Rose an old family album, revealing a photo of her father. Rose's heart skipped a beat. The man in the picture looked just like her. It was uncanny. She kept her shock hidden, not wanting to disrupt the fragile friendship they were building, but the resemblance stayed with her. As the holidays approached, Tina's father, Uka, arrived unexpectedly to pick her up. To Rose's shock, her own mother arrived at the same time, standing beside Uka. Her mind reeled as she pieced together the possibility that Uka might be her father. Just as Rose was about to ask her mother about this, another identical man appeared, Tina's uncle Tony. The truth unfolded that day. Uka and Tony were twins, and Uka was indeed Rose's father. Rose felt a whirlwind of emotions, anger, relief, and confusion. Uka explained that he tried to find her mother after a riot forced Ijeoma to flee her village, but he had lost contact. The reunion was bittersweet, but as the days passed, Uka visited often, slowly building a relationship with Rose. She even began to trust him, though she kept her guard up. Back at school, Rose's newfound status as Uka's daughter changed the social dynamics. Her former tormentors no longer dared to mock her, especially after learning that Uka was a major investor in the academy. The cold stares turned to whispers of admiration, and Bimbo, who had bullied her relentlessly, now avoided her altogether. Rose and Tina became closer, practically inseparable. Their friendship grew, and they supported each other through their challenges. Uka, committed to making up for lost time, visited often, bringing joy to both Rose and Ijeoma. Madam Izioma also supported their reunion, delighted to see her dear friend's family healing. By the time the next school year began, Rose had blossomed into a confident young woman. The mansion, once a place of grief, was now a home full of laughter and love. Rose, Tina, and their families often spent time together, and Rose felt her life was finally on a path toward the bright future she had always dreamed of. With her family reunited, a sisterly bond with Tina, and the unwavering support of Madam Izioma, Rose was ready to embrace all that lay ahead.
I hope you enjoyed the tale. If so, please like the video, comment, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.